Okay, me and my lovely wife in her new pink dress.
When we bought this fabric, I only bought it because you suggested it, and I was like, "That's not my favorite," but I like it. That's becoming one of my favorites, especially because he gave me such a hard time. Anyways,
She bought a new fancy pattern from where?
Fabrics-store.com.
Online. 40 bucks. But boy, 45 bucks. But it was worth it. It came in a box and in a tube and a fabric hanger and pattern hanger and all kinds of stuff
no
with it.
Tissue paper, actual paper.
Yeah, real hard paper. Yeah.
The lines for each side was colored. If you know, you know.
Yeah, anyway. That's not what we're here to talk about, although I love talking about how pretty my wife is. But what we're talking about today is reparations, which I personally think is the funniest suggestion to come from the left I've ever heard. And the reason we're talking about it now is, well, it's election year, and California evidently had voted to pay reparations, okay, for slavery, supposedly, all right? And when it came down, the Democratic powers that be said no. And why did they say no? Well, because you guys are being replaced, all right? You're being replaced by immigrants, and no matter who tells you that reparations is a good deal, it's not. And I'm going to explain why. One, you're being replaced. They need the money for the immigrants. Two, you're asking a country that never condoned slavery, the North, right, or Southerners, or right, to pay for slaves that they never had, to pay money to people who were never slaves. Now, if reparation was actually going to happen, it would, the Democratic Party would have to pay the reparations. Southern Democrats, yes. Democrats were the slave owners back in the day. Now, my own personal belief is that debt was paid with 750,000 Northerners who died in the Civil War. All right. And furthermore, by the Union Navy. It was paid for in blood. Your freedom was bought and paid for by white gentlemen, okay? And they paid with their blood and their lives. So the reparations is just ridiculous. No man alive has ever been a slave, all right, in this continent. And to go even farther than that, if you really wanted reparations, well, you would have to go back to the Moray tribe or whatever, but you'd have to go back to Africa. Black people enslaved black people. Black people sold black people, and black people in the United States had black people as slaves. The very first slave owner or slave in the United States was owned by a black man.
Yeah, listen, here's the thing. I gotta say that the United States of America has its flaws.
Yeah.
Has a lot of flaws.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of it is because we keep electing people that for sure do not have the American people's best interest in mind. Not once. Okay, but if you've been anywhere else, like I grew up in Mexico, you'll understand that.
Really?
No, go figure. I grew up in Mexico. I've seen people work their butt off all their lives only to scrape by and die.
Barely eat,
and they never die, not even in dignity. Okay? Yeah. So, whatever you want to say about this country, God has blessed it in more ways than one. Okay. Wait, I was going somewhere with this. Oh, okay.
I didn't say nothing this time.
No.
Senior
moment. Okay, so God bless this country in more ways than one, and women like me and every other woman in this country has enormous freedoms. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want, essentially, obviously within the bounds of the American law. And even some of the things that we do shouldn't be lawful, but that's for another day. Here's the problem, okay? With our freedom, we are supposed to help others. We are supposed to utilize our freedom to help others gain their freedom. There is actual slavery going on in other countries around the world.
Real slavery.
Real
Real people are suffering.
Women all over the world in other countries are suffering from slavery. They're not allowed to be free to express their opinions, to have their lives, to do whatever they want, to vote, to write, to be educated, all of this stuff. There are children, there are slaves in mines and stuff, in products that you consume, that I consume. I'm not above that, okay? Yep. That there is true slavery going on right now, okay? So the freedoms that we have in this country, the privileges that we have in this country, the ability to have all these benefits that we have are meant to draw us into seeing where else we can help.
Right.
But when we are, especially the people that think that they deserve any sort of reparation, they're playing the victim card.
Yep.
And boy, it is really easy to be the victim and have the world come and cater to you. Grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
I mean, some of these sayings that they come out with that people believe are so absurd and ridiculous. I mean, like my favorite one they've come out with, and they came out with this probably 7-8 years ago, white privilege. Show me white privilege. No one can point to it. No one can describe what it is. Let me tell you something. All you people out there screaming white privilege, the majority of you people are in college. I didn't get no college. When I was 17 years old, my dad signed a piece of paper so I could join the military. Why? Because there was no jobs. And why were there no jobs? Because they were giving all the jobs to the black people. They came out with the civil rights thing and all of that. And if you weren't black in my job or in the south side of Chicago, you weren't going to get a job. I mean, you could work at fast food restaurants and things like that. But if you wanted a chance at a life, you had to leave. I mean, it was like it didn't matter what you scored on the test to get into the city. I think I scored like it was a 94. Wasn't that great? 94. But the people they were hiring were scoring like 45 and 50. And they were hiring them only because of their skin color, not because they were better qualified for jobs. So
there's Adam Carolla, right? Yeah. He applied to be a firefighter, and not that long, around that time.
Yeah,
he applied, 2 years. 2 years. He applied. 2 years for them to call him. 2 years. He showed up to the interview, right? And he asked a black person that was sitting next to them. He said, "Well, how long ago did you apply?" He said, "Well, last week they called me today."
Right.
And he had to wait 2 years for it. Now, whether they both were qualified or not, or however they were qualified, but the fact that one of them had to wait 2 years to have it go back and the other one had to wait 1 week, tells you that there is a disparity there in the fairness of how the system is worked out. Is it still the same? I think we're waking up to the fact that color doesn't matter.
Racism is racism.
You have to be able to perform the job that you are hired for.
Correct.
Otherwise, what's the point?
You know, here's this is the funniest thing. It is so funny. If a DEI hire is a good thing, why are people so upset when you call Kamala Harris a DEI hire? Now, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump or any Republican said. Joe Biden himself said that she was a DEI hire. He said, "I promise to pick a woman of color for my vice presidency." All right? So that makes this person, okay, a DEI hire. And it's like everybody's got this whim. Everybody believes what they believe, okay? Most of it's not true, all right? But when you sit back and look at everything that's happening, it's funny because the black community is absolutely being replaced. That's why California finally, even after it was voted for, that's why they said no on reparations, because that money is absolutely needed for the people the Democrats let across the border. You're replaced. You are replaced with a different voter bloc because you can see how hard they're working to let these people vote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an obvious thing. But the reparations, I mean, I understand everybody wanting money, man. I want money, right? I mean, if they decided white boys were going to get paid, oh, wait, white boys that married a Mexican girl were going to get money, you betcha, I'd take it. But I'm enough of a man and mature enough that I would never campaign for it, all right? That just shows a level of maturity. I mean, I feel, therefore it is not ever true. There is a truth and there is a lie. If you want to believe the lie, that's up to you. But, you know, Kamala Harris came out the other day and she said, if the bill crosses my desk, I'll sign it to give reparations. Well, you know, there lies the problem. That bill will never get to her desk. There's no money to pay this. Once again, they're putting a hook out there for the black community to bite on. And the black community, a lot of them will bite on it and vote Democrat in the hopes of getting a paycheck.
One thing that I am we're concerned with is the fact that there's probably going to be violence,
Yes.
regardless of which side it wins.
Yeah.
If whether
And I'm
Trump
afraid,
or Kamala. But
yeah.
can I just say,
calm down.
If the if Donald Trump wins and you are sore about it and you're mad about the fact that Donald Trump wins, can I just suggest
4 years, go vote again.
give it a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, give it about a year, and look at your grocery bills.
Yeah.
Look at the price of gas. Look at the price of housing, the price of financing. That's the kind of things that you don't think you need when you are a young person, but as you get older, and things that are really important for the sustainability of the country. Give it a minute. Yeah. Let the cards play out rather than try to go into a violent rage.
You know, it's real easy to vote with your emotions and not your head when you're not the one paying the bills. And, you know, like these college kids, I get it, right? Look, I was born and raised a Democrat till I started working and paying my own bills. And I'm like, oh, holy cow, I don't want to pay for all these freebies. And, you know, they've got their catchphrases. Well, you're selfish. Well, you damn right I am. I worked hard. I think when I got out of the service, this is like 40 some odd years ago, I got a job in South Texas, and I think it paid like $7.20 an hour, $7.10, $7.20. And I have to tell you, the minimum wage in Texas is still like $7.20 an hour. All right? Yeah. So when you're paying your own bills, and it's like, you know, when people sit there and talk about these things, it's like, no, I work hard for my money. I don't want to pay for someone who doesn't want to work. Exactly. All right. I don't want to pay for all these people coming across the border. I am a firm believer in immigration, but not on this scale. All right. We don't even know who these people are. Right. And I want to be cool to everybody. I want to give foreign aid. I want to do all of this stuff. But I want to make America right first. After America is right, out of debt and strong, then yeah, let's help all these people. Let's help everybody we can. Why? It's the Christian thing to do. But I don't want Americans starving and Americans homeless on the street while we're putting illegal aliens up in 4-star hotels and giving them $1,500 a month, food stamps or SNAP, whatever they call it, and then they give them $5,000 a month on a debit card, right? They give them a phone bill, free phone with free service, and they give them housing for, like I've heard, 2 years that they don't have to pay. Why can't we do this for poor Americans?
Yeah, okay. This is a totally non sequitur.
Oh.
like that?
Yeah, non-secular. Yeah.
Them
Them big words, right?
That was a cartoon.
Oh.
A cartoon on the news. Anyway,
Anyway.
in the newspaper. Anyway, this is a totally shift on this thing, but I don't think I can do a video on my Christian channel on this.
No.
But I wanna talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. Candace Owen.
Oh boy. There's a can of worms.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Well, I was going to say, well, you're going to talk about the space landing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll do a rebuttal to that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the highlights.
Yeah.
And she, whatever you believe in her, she's a smart woman.
Yes, she is.
And sometimes one of the
very lovely woman.
Yes, and one of the most dangerous things is a smart woman that doesn't have any brains behind her. I hate to say this.
Yeah.
But okay, she was a Christian, raised Baptist, I think. And
I think she was Catholic, wasn't she?
No, wait.
Baptist? Yeah, she raised Catholic.
Raised Baptist.
Right.
And her husband challenged her, and I guess he challenged her beliefs. There's a whole bunch of videos out there where her and Ali Bedstaki and her husband are discussing religion and all of that, which is the blind leading the blind. Anyways, point is, she switched and now she's a Catholic. She's a Catholic. I'm not surprised because her husband is a Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay? And he probably
it's like Trump's daughter. She married a Jew, so she became Jewish. Yeah.
Does that make
Why
her
not?
Does that make her non-Christian? Absolutely not. We do not subscribe to the thought that because you're Catholic,
I don't like putting a name on what kind of religion you are.
You're not Christian. We all belong to the body of Christ, and we all are a little bit different or a lot different. Anyways, Catholics are Christians. Christians are Christians, Baptists are Christians, except for Mormons. They might not be Christian. But anyways, to the point, I've been watching some of these clips on my YouTube shorts with her in an interview that she did with Don Lemon or John Lemon. Don Lemon,
I think, yeah.
Okay.
The guy from CNN. Well, used to be CNN, yeah.
Okay, so she's really good, okay, about all this social stuff. She's on point. She's perfect. She's exact. She calls transgenderism what it is.
Yeah.
Homosexuality what it is. She calls all these things. She's really, really smart, and she's very right about all of that thing. The cautionary tale I give you is she's not right about everything, even though she is preaching to the things that you want her to tell you right.
Anything that's fashionable, she has a comment on.
And here's the thing. He asked her about conspiracy theories, and one of the ones that she says about the moon landing. And she says, I read this book. I didn't think about it. I read this book, and I think it's made up, and it is the biggest sham perpetrated on the American people. And here's her stick. She speaks with confidence about it, right? And here's the magic of her trick. She said all these things that you already agree with her,
right?
And then she tells you that big wallop of whatever, and now you're like, oh, well, then it must be right.
That's what I'm saying, right? Common sense.
Careful.
Okay, this is the United States government. If the moon landing was faked, you are talking about probably 100,000 people that were involved in the moon landing stuff, from making the spaceships to the whole 9 yards. Do you really think for a minute that these people could keep that secret? Especially with people out there that would pay anything for a first-hand story on this. Now, an example to that is the Manhattan Project. For all of you guys that don't understand, the Manhattan Project was making of the nuclear bomb during World War II. It was the largest
Oppenheimer thing?
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Okay. If you watched the movie.
Well, yeah, on the movie. But what they didn't show in the movie, well, I don't know. I didn't go see the movie.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
When they started moving to the desert, they built this town out there in the desert. All these people they went into town to do grocery shopping and such. When this guy got to that town, he went to the grocery store, and some lady behind the counter, middle-aged housewife, from what I understand, right? She looked at him and she says, "Are you here to work on the atomic bomb?"
It was a secret.
Yeah, it's top
Top
secret.
secret.
Everybody knew.
It was
all right. This was not a secret to anybody except maybe the Japs, and I'm pretty sure they knew about it because that many people can never keep a secret. All right.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna tell you all right now. If you want to keep a secret, don't tell anyone. I mean,
That's
no
right.
one.
That's right.
Right.
And that's the thing. Common sense is not
common sense. Yeah, it ain't common.
You know, we apply common sense to everything. And what? Okay, what's popular right now? There's this movie coming out. It's called, I don't know the name of it, but it's about movie studio faking the moon landing and all of that.
They made a movie about that years ago when I was a kid.
It's just coming out. And
making another one, huh?
They're making another one because they can't come up with anything new.
Right.
Listen.
They had Charlton Heston in it.
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it was when I was a kid.
Here's the thing. These trends come and go, okay? Yeah. But like I said, my husband said, it's all common sense. Nobody knows how to keep a secret because let me tell you what would have happened. The people involved in all of that, they had husbands, wives, children, all of this stuff. Things gets around. There's no secrets.
There was 100,000 people at least that were involved in some way with the space program and the moon landings, right? But, you know, it's just like it comes down to the reparations, you know? It's just like I never owned a slave, and I'm a Republican, all right? So why should I have to pay reparations? If you want somebody in this country to pay reparations, all right, well, to begin with, you need to start with the Democratic Party because they're the ones that had slaves. If you don't believe me, look it up. Okay, in the second place, just because you have black skin color, more melanoma or whatever in the skin, doesn't mean your ancestors were slaves. So everybody that's black is not going to make money. You're going to have to prove that your ancestors were slaves, all right? So, I mean, it's like, so that's going to cause a whole can of worms. You can't give reparations for slavery to people whose ancestors were never slaves. Okay, so I hate to tell you, but this is going to be just like California. They're using this for a political point to get your vote, just like DACA, all right? None of them people got citizenship, and it's been 20 years, right? So, yeah, they're using you, and you're going to go along with it because you're going to hope.
That, you know, when the guy looks out the window in the space shuttle and he quotes the Bible, was that the same Apollo mission?
Yeah, it was the one landed on the moon, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, you can see all these things and create all these things and make up all these things in your mind. Look, they were on outer space.
We got moon rocks, people.
And when they looked out. Yep. When the guy looked outside, he was so awe-inspired that he quoted Genesis 1:1.
Yeah.
Okay? So, there is people that have moon rocks. There's people that guys,
come on.
Don't follow, I don't say don't follow her. She's got some good points. And the reparations and stuff.
But look,
use your common sense and think for yourself. No, don't let yourself be guided by other people.
I'm gonna wrap this up with a total change of subject. If you're a parent,
non sequitur.
What?
Nothing.
Non sequitur. What did you say?
A non sequitur.
A non sequitur.
Sequitur.
Yeah, whatever. What she said. Okay, anyway.
I'm using it today.
If you're a parent or have been a parent, okay, and you have children, you need to listen to RFK on those vaccines, all right? 1,400 independent surveys have shown that, well, I'm not going to say it, have shown that the vaccine caused something, all right? And that's an absolute truth. The CDC is not your friend. They're in bed with Big Pharma. There is no money in a healthy population, All right? You need to understand this.
You gotta listen to. I mean, I don't trust Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my God, no.
At all. But she is a big proponent, advocate for doing away with the
mandatory
vaccines.
Shots. Yeah.
And she had one of her kids that she vaccinated, and she said this was a perfectly normal child. Yep. They got vaccinated, and it's like the lights went out, like that. Yeah. So, and they will tell you this phrase, okay? What is it? Correlation is not causation. That means that because things happen at the same time, that's not what caused it. I would believe that if it was just one or two isolated things that happened, but they like my husband said, there's study after study.
1,400. JFK wrote a whole book on it.
Yeah.
Or RFK, sorry. He wrote a book on it, yeah.
Here's okay. Can I just say this? I know that he wrote a book and everything else, but I would invite you to.
He cites the case studies. That's
what it's about to say. Yeah. When you read the book, okay, and you're feeling like you believe what he says, which is what an informed human being does, and what as a parent, what I would do is go through all the studies that he quotes. And then you should do that with everything, okay? Everything you read, including the fake moon landing.
Yeah.
You should read the sources. And isn't it great that that we have this book now? How many years ago was the moon landing? 69?
Yeah, so, 60.
So that's what are we talking about? 30, 40, 50?
40, 50, no, 70 years almost. Yeah.
So the people that were there were full adults, and they're probably already dead, and they can't say anything about it. So isn't that convenient?
I'll finish up with the reparations. Isn't it funny the party that owned the slaves wants the party that never had slaves to pay reparations to people who were never slaves? That just is, it's mind-blowing. The common sense is just not in any of that. But, yeah, anyway, God bless everybody.
God bless. Bye-bye. Don't take any with nickels.